friends of all kinds, the weekend is here, and that means it's time to sit back, watch some football, and make some money. You're responsible for the first two, and you've come to the right place for the third. It's Beat the Bookie at the CitrusTV studio. I'm your host, Cameron Macaulay, and let's go make some money. But first, let's take a look back and see how last week's bets went. And draft night was a tough one for Tyler Melito. He did nail the call of Devontae Smith to Philly, but could not find a win elsewhere and hit well into the red. And as we look at these cumulative totals on the semester, it's not exactly something new. Pat Gunn remains with a wide lead at the top alongside Cooper Boardshorts and Willie Betts himself. And in the bottom half, Tyler has now made his second appearance in the bottom five, which brings his cumulative total on the semester single-handedly to negative 116. And for the bookie beaters as a whole, it's negative 245. Let's start changing that today, and without further ado, start making some money. The FCS playoffs are continuing this weekend, but first we head down to the Southwest Athletic Conference Championship, where Alabama A&M and Arkansas Pine Bluff are squaring off. We've got $100 to spend this weekend, and we will start by throwing 15 on A&M. The Bulldogs have won their 4 games by a combined 59 points, and they'll cover at -3. And in the Elite Eight of the playoffs, perennial powerhouse North Dakota State against Sam Houston State. This one's close to a pick'em, but we're going to go with the upset here and throw $5 on the Bearcats. That's with a K, by the way. The winner of that game will play the winner of Delaware-Jacksonville State, and with JSU coming off a dominant 49-14 win in the first round, we'll take the value on -3.5, slap down $10 on the 10-2 Gamecocks. On the other side of the bracket, North Dakota and James Madison square off, and despite JMU's undefeated record, we'll take the Fighting Hawks to cover this one at +2.5. Let's save $10 on that, but a little more on that one later. Finally, top-seeded favorites South Dakota State have a huge 15.5-point spread against Southern Illinois, and with all due respect to SIU, South Dakota State is coming off wins against North Dakota State and Holy Cross, who have both played with FBS competition by a combined score of 58-20. They're covering in this one $15 on that. And now that we've picked the spreads of the 5 games this weekend, it's time to look at some other lines, and we'll start with the lock of the week. For that one, we're heading back to the North Dakota-James Madison matchup and the over-under of 52.5. The Hawks haven't scored under 30 since the start of March, and JMU is averaging 29.6 per game over their last 5. We're set for fireworks on Sunday, and for that we're putting $25 on that over hitting. And I mentioned it earlier, we're sticking with this matchup for the dog of the week. North Dakota quarterback Tommy Schuster has been fantastic this season, 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the season for him, and his Fighting Hawks are coming off a 34-point win. We're putting $10 on the money line, outright North Dakota. That's our dog of the week. And lastly, let's go all in and spend that last $10 on a nice, juicy parlay. We got 3 great games and 6 great offenses this weekend, and let's be honest, who doesn't want to sit down and root for some high-scoring football? So let's parlay the A&M Pine Bluff over, the Delaware-Jacksonville State over, and the North Dakota State James Madison over into one parlay and throw our last $10 on that. That's it for this episode of Beat the Bookie. Here's the recap of what we've done. $15 on Alabama A&M, $5 on Sam Houston State, $10 on Jacksonville State, and $10 on North Dakota State, as well as $15 on South Dakota State to cover as the spreads. As far as over-unders go, we've got 25 points on the James Madison North Dakota over-under, $10 on our parlay, and further $10 on North Dakota, fooling that upset outright. All right, that's been it for this episode of Beat the Bookie. I'm your host, Cameron Macaulay, and until next time, we'll see you at the CitrusTV studios. For now, enjoy the weekend.